Shooting USA is brought to you by SnapSafe and the full line of Trek-Lite lockboxes. Affordable security for home or travel. Get 15% off with code SUSA15 at snapsafe.com. Modern sportsmen have the benefit of smokeless powder cartridges to power their hunt for big game. But in the days of slow-burning black powder, a round meant for dangerous game had to make up for the lack of velocity with a big charge and a very big bullet. In the late 1800s, one answer was 2 barrels chambered in 500 black powder express. That's now one of history's guns. History remembered and sponsored by the Civilian Marksmanship Program. The double rifle. For big game hunters in the 1870s, it offered 2 potential benefits. First, a powerful round capable of bringing down large, often dangerous game. Second, the ability to deliver 2 of those rounds quickly in case one didn't find its mark.
Multi-barreled firearms are nothing new. They go back to the beginning of firearms in the 14th century. The original good ones were flintlock and then percussion and then ultimately cartridge.
Before the advent of magazine-fed rifles, a colonial adventurer in the wilds of India had few choices when it came to firing multiple shots in quick succession. And the prospect of facing a charging tiger with only a single round in the chamber was not very pleasant. A rifle with 2 barrels seemed like the most practical alternative.
Most practical being you had 2 fast rounds and it was less cumbersome than a 3 or 4 barreled rifle. They were made by most countries. However, when one thinks of a high-grade double rifle, they think of an English double rifle. This particular gun is an example manufactured by Thomas Woodward of Birmingham. Probably mid-1870s. It has some nice features on it. It has the early push-on safeties, which gives you a little extra added safety feature along with the half-cock. Has typical, express-type sights, graduated to 100, 200, and 300 yards. It has what's called a Jones underlever, which was one of the many, locking systems, used in double rifles. This mechanism came in about the late 1860s and was very, very popular. It wasn't the fastest, but it was certainly very, very strong and very positive.
As was common with many firearms throughout history, British double rifles were often referred to by the round they chambered. This example was no exception, chambering a cartridge that was very popular at the time, the 500 BPE, or Black Powder Express.
There were a number of different Black Powder Expresses, everything from 2 inches all the way up to 3 1/4 inches. The 2 most popular being 3-inch cartridge cases and the 3 1/4 inch. They were pretty potent loads for their day.
For a rifle to bring down large game, it required a lot of hitting power, and a slow-burning black powder charge had its limitations. The solution was a large bullet, backed by a lot of black powder.
The one we have here is a 3-inch. It's firing a 340 grain bullet. It uses 130 grains of 1.5 F black powder. It's pushing that bullet out at around 700 feet per second. You're getting about 3,000 foot-pounds of energy. So it's got some oomph.
That oomph was why the British called this round the Express.
The term Express is interesting in that it came originally from express train, which was at the time in the 1860s when the term was coined. Express trains were the most powerful and fastest things known to man at that point.
As potent as the 500 BPE was, it was never particularly well regarded in Africa. It was, however, very popular in India.
As a matter of fact, this particular gun was retailed by a company called Hamilton in Calcutta and Simla. They found that the 500 was an excellent gun for most game in India, and especially favored with tiger hunters. Matter of fact, Jim Corbett, one of the most famous tiger hunters of all, used a 500 and found it very agreeable. I don't shoot cats, but if I had to face a tiger with one, I wouldn't feel underarmed, let's put it that way.
As effective as English double rifles like this 500 BPE were, Much of their respect was due to more than performance alone.
Double rifles, especially English double rifles, as well as being darn good firearms in their own right, they are gorgeous. And some of the most expensive firearms in the world are English double rifles. They are handsome firearms. You never see one that doesn't have some form of engraving or embellishment on it.
Powerful, extremely accurate, and beautifully crafted, English double rifles are as prized today as they were when new, almost 150 years ago.
My admiration of English double rifles knows no bounds. Well, it knows some bounds in my pocketbook. If I had the wherewithal, I'd be into double rifles big time.
Thanks again for tuning into the Shooting USA YouTube channel. We hope you enjoyed the content. A couple of notes. Make sure you take advantage of SUSA15 at snapsafe.com. That's our discount code that saves you 15% on anything from SnapSafe, and that gets to be some big money when you start talking about modular safes and vault doors. Also, if you haven't done so already, please consider subscribing and turn on notifications so you don't miss any of our new content. As always, a like and a comment helps us with that algorithm.